joined by MVP and Alexis the Third Man. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe and catch all the new content. We drop new stuff every week. This week we're going right into top 5 wrestling video games of all time. I think this will be a pretty good topic, so I'll kick things off. My number 1, I'm going nostalgia. WWF Royal Rumble. And for the Sega Genesis, for me, the roster was good. It had like Narcissist Lex Luger, had Hulk Hogan, Macho Man. So one of my favorite games. I'm gonna put that at number 1.
The Narcissist Lex Luger.
With the forearm.
Who wants to go next? Lexus?
Yeah, I'll go next. So if we're kicking it with nostalgia, I'm gonna go with one of the first arcade games that I ever played, which was WWF WrestleFest.
Ooh, yeah.
That's throwing it back, man. I threw so many quarters into that growing up. It had Earthquake, Ultimate Warrior, Hogan, Demolition, Legion of Doom, and it only had two. Gameplays. It had the Royal Rumble and Saturday Night's Main Event, but just absolutely loved that game. Got to go outside and pick up steps, which is awesome. You know, in 89, 90, I think it came out in 1990. So WWF WrestleFest, the arcade game, is going to be number 1 for me.
Those are very, very nostalgic. I won't go quite as nostalgic, but I'll hit you guys with a WWF WrestleMania the arcade game.
Oh yeah!
Now it wasn't the traditional wrestling game. It was more of like a fighting kind of fighting game style wrestling game, and it had so Doink the Clown would shock you with his giant hand. Lex Luger had his Patriot wings. Undertaker shot wolves out of his jacket. Bret Hart hit you with a baseball bat.
Didn't Bret Hart also bleed hearts? If you hit him hard enough.
And then at the end, when you won the match, it actually played your character's entrance music.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
one of the very first game, and I mean it'll be like a small snippet where it just looped, but it had Sherry's version of "Sexy Boy."
Mm-hmm.
It did. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna go with my number 2, and only because of one of the modes on it. So every WWE game would have Road to WrestleMania or Story Mode. WWE, it wasn't 2K yet. It was WWE 13. They had the Attitude Era. So there was 60 matches of just Attitude Era, and they had Jim Ross and Jerry Lawler on commentary. I think it was Bret Hart was in the game. You could do the Survivor Series, the Screwjob. You could follow all those matches in that game, and big nostalgia for me is playing that mode. And as I was thinking about it before this episode, I'm probably going to download that game tonight and play it because that Attitude Era was awesome. I really want to play that again. But yeah, I'm going to go in WWE 13.
CM Punk on the cover,
like that.
No, that game was awesome. Being able to do all those old matches like that.
Yeah.
Just kind of relive those matches with all those old characters. Huge character list in that game too. Absolutely
huge.
Who you got, Alexis? Number 2.
All right, so I'm gonna go number 2. So this game, I remember playing with my cousins. It was on the N64. I think just took the wrestling games to the next level. Was WCW versus NWO World Tour.
Yes.
And, I had the Giant on the front. And just an awesome game. It brought forth, I think, the first grappling system.
Yes.
Where you would press A for a soft grapple, then you would hold A for the hard grapple, the bigger moves. And one of the first games that I ever played that actually had characters from all over the world. I think it had New Japan characters, All Japan, lot of cool stuff in there, and just a game that I just put hours and hours and hours into in elementary school. I remember going to my friend, never forget it. His friend name was Hendrix Galvez. Went to his house and he introduced me to it, and once I played that game, I was hooked. So
yeah, for sure. That one had the giant Hulk Hogan on the cover.
Yep.
I rented that. I rented that game so many times from Family Video. Right down
Family Video.
I rented that game so many times. But who you got at number 3, Matt?
Okay, so shout out to Alexis for World Tour.
Yeah.
I mean, I know all of us. It started like
that's the game that started it all.
Started it all. I'm going to do a game that was kind of a better version of World Tour. Do WCW versus NWO Revenge. It took whatever World Tour started, and it kind of upped the ante. Entrances had like the like a Royal Rumble type mode. Forgot what WCW called it.
It was like I think it was Battle Royal.
Yeah, Battle Royal. Goldberg's first game.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Here over and over again in that game.
Yep.
And then that was a good game.
And they actually had belts.
Yep.
So you go through a mode and unlock belts, and then
they had a ranking system, I think, right? Like you could climb up the ranks to challenge for the belt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had part of the great story mode where you actually unlocked characters too, right, MVP?
Yep. And then you can customize every character's ring attires.
Yeah.
For me, I put like all of my favorite wrestlers with the Wolfpack.
Oh yeah.
I give them all Wolfpack shirts. It had Wolfpack Sting with the black and red paint. And then when Sting came to the ring during like a battle royal mode, he'd actually drop from the ceiling.
Oh yeah.
What I love about those games, real quick, is that so I rented a lot from Family Video because it was right on the road from my house. N64 games, there was no memory card; it saved in the cartridge.
Yeah,
I loved renting like Revenge or whatever, and then when you start playing it, you're like, what are all these created wrestlers that people made? And it's just stuck in there.
Yep.
That's one of my favorite things. And I like that game too because you just do the joystick to do your special move. You didn't have to do crazy combos, and just like when it said special and it was flashing, you just flick the stick.
Yeah. But you could do the hard grapple though. You couldn't do it with the soft grapple.
The hard grapple.
And man, I remember in that game with Booker T doing the Harlem Hangover.
Yep.
That was my move. In that one. P too. DDP, you can do the diamond cutter. Ropes.
Yep.
Threw him into the turnbuckle.
Like 5 different diamond cutters, man.
Oh man, Revenge just like you said, MVP just took it to the next level.
Yeah, no, that was a great game. For my third pick, I'm gonna scale it back a little bit, only because it's not anywhere near as good as Revenge, but it was good as one of the first wrestling games right before WCW versus NWO World Tour. There was WCW versus the World for PlayStation.
Yes,
and that game was good. I mean, you had Eddie Guerrero. There was you could wrestle in like Japan arenas, and there were time limits and all this crazy stuff. So I like that game a lot. Sting was on the cover.
The short-haired Joker Sting.
Yeah.
Or the short-haired Crow Sting.
Yeah.
With just like the lines on his eyes.
Yeah, all he had was the 2 lines. Yeah. He didn't have all the squiggly stuff. But yeah, no, I thought that was a good game. That's what I played a lot is because it was one of the only wrestling games around at the time that was like good with, the entrance and stuff. And then obviously they did much better with Revenge and
could have been the first game to actually have that grappling system.
I think it is, yeah.
The first mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
I never played that game. I don't think I ever.
Yeah, no, it was not advertised. I would see it at Family Video, and I'm like, what is this? What is this? And I didn't have a PlayStation. I was an N64 guy, so I couldn't play it. But
Yeah, I was the same. I was a Sega, so I had regular Nintendo. I never had Super Nintendo. My cousin did, and then I had Sega, and then from Sega I went to N64. It wasn't until a couple of years later I ended up getting the PlayStation 1. I think I got NFL Game Day '99 with Terrell Davis on the front. And then I started having doing stuff with the PlayStation. So a lot of that early PlayStation stuff, I really didn't get to play much.
Yeah, it was, but yeah, I had to go throwback on that one. So we'll kick it back to Alexis.
I'm gonna have to get on my emulator play that one.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with another N64 one. It actually was the WWF equivalent, I want to say, of would be World Tour, but I think it actually came out after Revenge, if I'm not mistaken. But it was WrestleMania 2000.
Yep.
And this game, I think, just took Revenge and took it up a notch. So this one, the entrances. I remember playing with Shawn Michaels and him coming in the middle of the ring, and he goes down to do his pose, and then you got the fireworks going on in the back.
Yeah.
And The Rock comes out, and he goes on the turnbuckle and lifts his arm up. And I think this was the first create a wrestler too, because I don't think Revenge let us create a wrestler. If I'm not mistaken, I know it let us like edit the wrestlers, but I don't think it created. And just this create a wrestler was just off the chain. You can pick every single move, every single grapple move, the song entrance, the Videotron. We even seen Triple H spit out I think he spit out the water bottles, water bottle out in this one. So, and the gameplay was so fast too. It was so fast, and just an awesome game. I remember just putting hours and hours and hours into that game. I'm talking about playing that game until the sun came up with my cousins. So, yeah, WrestleMania 2000. That's gonna be my number 3.
I would say WrestleMania 2000 changed the game.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But my next one would have to be the one that kind of ups it.
Oh, yeah.
WWF No Mercy.
Oh, man.
WWF No Mercy.
No Mercy's good.
And right off the bat, the first game to feature the 3D.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, awesome.
It was, awesome. And then I want to say it's the first of those games with the grapple system where you can actually put someone through a table. I mean, granted, it's just the announcer's table, but you can put your opponent through the table.
Through the table, awesome. And you can buy the hole in the.
Oh, yeah. You can buy Godfather's hoe.
$500,000 it was to buy that one. You know how long you had to play to buy that?
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Oh
my goodness.
Dude, that shop too, where you're able to buy so much stuff.
Yep. I eventually got to the point where I bought everything except the hoe because the hoe was just too damn expensive.
They don't want kids buying that. They're like, it's going to be $500,000.
Oh.
But I would say that the two best wrestling games, in my opinion, they've already been said, but No Mercy and Revenge. Those are, I don't think anything's ever compared to those.
Oh, No Mercy was great. I believe in No Mercy too. You're able to throw them into the backstage.
Yes.
Go into the different rooms and the bar, APA's bar.
Yep.
And it was so crazy too how you had to in story mode where you couldn't win all the time because remember that little pyramid.
Yeah,
the little pyramid you had.
Mm-hmm.
get all the little blocks of the pyramid in order to complete it.
And then it's like, oh, to get to this side, I have to lose.
Yeah, yeah. And man, I just
And then I remember it had the storyline where the Rock, so Big Show actually tossed the Rock out of the ring for the Royal Rumble. His feet hit, but didn't. But then he came back up. The Rock won the Rumble officially, but it afterwards it showed like, oh, the Rock actually had his feet hit the ground first. They had that storyline in there, but Big Show was not in the game. They replaced him with Steven Richards.
Steven Richards. I remember that from. He had the suit on.
Right to censor.
Right to censor.
And dude, that annoying ass music. Whenever that music came on, like during like a Royal Rumble, I'm like, it's just an alarm. It's just an alarm.
Stevie Richards, Bull Buchanan, Ivory, and the Good Father.
And the Good Father. Yeah.
Well,
such a great game, man. Such just probably one of the, arguably the greatest wrestling game in probably ever.
Yeah.
I mean, if it had the graphics of nowadays, I mean, I don't think any game would touch it.
Yeah.
In a small way, I kind of that feel because you're playing a video game. So as much as I love to make it as real as possible, it just takes you to a whole other world of fun. But before we go into our fourth and fifth picks, I got to take a second to shout out W, guys. So W.gg is the website. If you use code GEMMINT10, you get 10% off your order. It's been keeping me through my work weeks. It's been awesome. There's no crash, no jitters. Make sure you check out W. They're up and coming. Use that discount code GEMMINT10, and you'll get 10% off your whole order. So tell them we sent you there.
Has completely replaced my coffee in the morning.
Oh, yeah. We're going into fourth and fifth now. I'm going to have to go. We got to give a shout out, dude. The first ever WWF SmackDown game. WWF SmackDown, where The Rock is doing a sleeper hold on Chris Jericho, I think, in the cover. That was a great game because it started turning what I knew, right, the old Sega games and all that, into like more of a storylines and all that stuff. You had the American Badass Undertaker in there. That was good, and it didn't look clean, but it was a good game. I had a lot of fun with that game. So I gotta go with WWF SmackDown.
Yeah, I remember my friend Antoine. He was a PlayStation. I was a 64 guy. He was the PlayStation guy. Brought me over, and coming out with the entrance to you with the Titantron behind them.
Yep.
I remember that it was awesome. And you're right, Lucky. The storyline in that game was just top notch. And the story changed with the different characters you were, which I think kind of No Mercy and WrestleMania was kind of a little bit repetitive.
Yeah.
Even with whatever character you use, and SmackDown would throw different characters into the storyline depending on who you were playing with, and no commentary, but I remember a ton of flashbulbs in that, especially did your finishers. So hell yeah, SmackDown. The first SmackDown was awesome.
Yeah, I'm digging it. I think that it was not just a joystick, but to do the finisher was R2 L2. You hit them at the same time. So, what do you got, Alexis?
All right, so we're doing number 4, right? All right, so I'm gonna go with a game that this was. I believe this was PlayStation, and both games were awesome. But I'm gonna go with Def Jam, Fight for New York. I believe another awesome game. Crazy storylines. You were able to play with all kind of hip hop artists: Method Man, Redman, Snoop Dogg, whole bunch of guys, and it was so cool because it was like a wrestling game for the streets. So it started off in like a bare knuckle type of Fight Club type deal, and then you kind of slowly but surely made your way into like the wrestling ring. And I remember in Fight for New York, Snoop Dogg was the boss.
Yeah,
the guy that you tried to get to and beat. And That game was just, I don't think it was THQ. I forget the.
No, it was a different company. I forget the
Yeah,
name of
I
it.
forget the company, but the graphics were awesome. The gameplay was awesome. You were able to go to so many different stages. Able to go to different parts of stages. So yeah, if anybody hasn't played it, the first one was Def Jam Vendetta, and the second one was Def Jam Fight for New York. So I definitely got to give a shout out to those games, non WWE, non WCW.
It was Electronic Arts.
Yes, yes, EA,
Yay.
EA,
Big.
great,
Yeah.
just great games, both of them.
Yeah, it was the same division of Electronic Arts that made NBA Street and NFL
Okay.
Street.
Yeah,
Yeah. There we
You
go.
could tell the graphics looked very similar, but those were great games too. They were really hitting that year
oh,
or two. NFL Street was
fire,
fire.
fire.
What you got, MVP?
All right. So I will have to go with. So in 2013, I believe WWE's partnership with. I forgot who they were with, but they they did a WWE 13. That relationship ended. I forgot who it was with, but
Was it Ukes or
it,
was it?
it could have been Ukes. But then they 2K took over and started pumping out the 2K series, and my next one would be the first one of that series, so it'd be 2K14.
All right, who's on the cover of that one?
Ah, man.
I can't remember. Was it?
I cannot remember who was on the cover of that one.
Might have been Cena, I think.
Cena was 2K15.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It'd be The Rock.
The Rock.
And then I think the Ultimate
It was
Warrior was the new feature character on that game. So they had the Ultimate Warrior commercials going on with that.
Oh yeah. Yep.
But what stood out to me from a gaming perspective was it was the first game to feature the defeat the streak mode. And I remember playing it. It was like the hardest thing to do because every time you hit your finisher, the Undertaker would power up.
Yeah, you would.
OP for sure, dude.
Yep. But I think I believe I ended the streak with Brock Lesnar.
Hey.
Spoiler alert! No,
Yeah.
no, that's a solid pick. I don't know why I saved this one for last. I could have knocked this one out earlier, but one of the first WWF games that I remember playing where, there was entrances and there was all that good stuff. Now, there was Warzone that wasn't good at all.
No.
A slightly better version was Attitude. I'm going WWF Attitude, mainly because I played it a lot. I liked the characters in it, but the combos and all that were difficult because it wasn't as simple as moving a joystick. It was like you had to press it was on N64, so it was like the yellow pad, like the 4 buttons. You'd have to press 3 of those, then A, B, and it's like, this is too much to do. Then by the time you do that, the opponent that's stunned is not stunned anymore. So it's like I can't even do the finisher. But WWF Attitude had Stone Cold on the cover.
Yep, I remember Stone Cold on the cover. Yep, I remember that one.
Very reminiscent to our background we have on our wrestling podcast now.
Shout out to MVP finding that background there.
Yeah.
Liking it, digging it.
So what about you, Alexis? Number 5.
All right, so we're going to round up my number 5. I'm trying to remember what my number 5 was. Oh, yes. So I want to show 2K some love, too. And I actually want to shout out the one with Stone Cold Steve Austin on the cover.
Yep.
Okay.
Was 2K16.
All right.
And what I really liked about that one is graphics were awesome. Entrances were great. I believe they cleaned up a lot of the gameplay from 14 and 15. But I think my most favorite part of that one was basically going through Stone Cold's career.
Yep.
think that's what 2K was really great with is whoever was on the cover is they basically highlighted all the big things from like their career. So you were able to actually see Stone Cold Steve Austin when he came in as with the $1 Million Man. You were able to see that. You were able to do the King of the Ring. You were able to do the Bret Hart match at WrestleMania 13 with him. And you got to win the championship, go against him with The Rock. And I remember sending my cousin to go get that one for me. It went on sale. I didn't get it right away, and it went on sale. And I was like, man, I got to get that one. That was actually the first 2K that I physically owned. And really great game. I really think that 2K's just done great with their... I haven't played any of the new ones, like 22, 23. Everybody says this 23, it's awesome. Haven't played it yet, so I'm going to go with 2K16.
I like it because you forgot one big thing about that one. When you pre-ordered it, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Well, see, I didn't pre-order it, so I
Yeah. And it also had, I think it was the first game that did like some of the NXT talent too. As far as that went, and the Stone Cold mode, I definitely was digging that. So, and one of the characters you could do is Macho King when he was in the trunks, and he had just the bandana. I was digging that too.
Yeah, that was the first ones where it brought a lot of retro guys back too. A lot of retro characters, and you were able to get them from like different eras. I think you were able to play like. I'm not sure if that was the first one where you were able to play Hogan and Hollywood Hogan. I'm not 100% sure, but I know 2K did do that, though.
Yeah.
To go into, like, different eras and stuff, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, for sure. What's your fifth one MVP?
My fifth one will be the first WWF game to come out for the Dreamcast. Royal Rumble 2000.
Ooh, giving the Dreamcast some love.
Yep. I didn't own a Dreamcast at the time, but I would always go over to my friend's house and play this game. And it's simple. It was just a simple wrestling game. It just all it had was the Royal Rumble.
Yep.
But for the time, the graphics were on point.
Oh yeah.
The gameplay was kind of smooth, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dreamcast, as far as graphics wise, like blew the PlayStation and the N64 like out of the water.
Yeah,
I remember playing like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 out that thing, and just looked just as good as the arcade game. Mm-hmm. And I think wasn't that the memory card too, where it was like in the middle slot of the controller,
and it had a screen on it.
Yeah, and it had a screen on it. Yep.
Because I remember playing like NBA games, and it would like, as you're hitting threes, it would hit you with stats in the memory card.
Lucky, there was an NBA game. I don't know what it was, but it was the smoothest, most crispest NBA game. It was on Dreamcast. I remember I used to
you have one of three options: 2K, 2K1, 2K2.
It had to be 2K or 2K1 because those games on the Dreamcast. Just those basketball games, just top notch, dude.
I'll throw you for a loop. It's the one with Allen Iverson on the cover. He's on all of them.
He's on all of them, right?
Yeah.
Now 2K2 or 2K2. That's how old we are.
My all-time favorite NBA 2K game.
Yeah, and the soundtrack. Like I remember all of it. And you could like I love doing the seasons. You could do the draft. You could draft the players.
Yep.
Bruh.
Michael Jordan on the Wizards.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. No, Dreamcast was so ahead of its time that like those wrestling games, they look more real, kind of like how nowadays would look. I don't think Dreamcast knew what they had. You know.
No. I don't think people knew what Dreamcast was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so ahead of its time.
They had a bad taste in their mouth from like the Sega, what was it, the Sega CD?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that was like, that one was kind of meh. I know Virtua Fighter was pretty great on that one. But yeah, I think people had a bad taste in their mouth. And Dreamcast, I remember when Dreamcast was the first video system where you can pirate the games. You guys remember?
Yes,
You can pirate
absolutely.
the, you can mod it and you can download the games. Dude, I remember I bought Marvel vs. Capcom for like $5 from one of my buddies in high school. And yeah, man, shout out to MVP for throwing the Dreamcast out there.
Yeah, no,
Yes,
Dreamcast is amazing.
yeah.
Any honorable mentions you got, Lucky, for the wrestling games?
I mean, they're not good games, but I don't want to step on you guys and steal yours. We're throwing around some ideas beforehand, but I don't know why I like this game so much. WCW Mayhem. I like Mayhem.
You know what? I can't even hate. I spent a good amount of time playing Mayhem.
But I liked it because of Bobby the Brain Heenan's commentary. Cheat if you can. You should cheat if you want to win, and like just be a heel. I like Mayhem. I like
Tony Schiavone, Swan Dive Headbutt.
Swan Dive Headbutt. And I guess the only other one I'll bring up, there was a game for Sega, and I don't know the exact name of it, but it was like Bret Hart's King of the Ring or something.
Yeah, I think it was
maybe just King of the Ring.
And I think Bret Hart was on the cover. If I remember.
You're right. I thought it was Bret Hart something, but yeah, King of the Ring. I love the old games. I'm an old head now.
Yeah,
I'm not a kid anymore. I'm like, oh yeah, the old ones are good.
for sure.
Yeah, what about you?
So I want to shout out the GameCube. I want to shout out the GameCube because not many people really talk about wrestling games on the GameCube. But Day of Reckoning was the on the GameCube, and actually more specifically, Day of Reckoning 2. Just awesome graphics. The entrances were great. Just a game that I played a ton of. I know a lot of people don't really like the GameCube controller. I love the GameCube controller. I thought it was very very comfortable in my hands.
Ergonomic.
Yeah, yeah. I remember Stacy Keibler was on the front. Yeah. I spent a lot of time playing that one. I spent a lot of time playing the Day of Reckoning, and another one that I want to shout out was SmackDown. Here Comes the Pain.
Brock Lesnar on the cover.
Brock Lesnar on the cover. That one was just another one that I just played a ton of. Really stepped up their game from the first couple of SmackDowns. So those two I want to give an honorable mention to.
How about you, MVP?
All right, so I have an obscure wrestling game. It was also for the Dreamcast. It's called Rumble Roses. It had no real characters in it, but it was a game of women's wrestling, and I believe when you hit a finisher, just the screen would just like flash like roses.
Okay. The Women of Wrestling act.
All right, and then two games I'd like to shout out. They were horrible, but I didn't actually play them for the games. So WCW Nitro and WCW Thunder. Yeah. Now at the character select screen, you could actually play their rant, and they'll have like a little 5 to 10 second little spiel on why you should pick them.
Yep, little promo. Yeah,
yep.
I forgot about that.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I wouldn't play the game for the gameplay. I'd play the game just to see the rants.
Yeah, and then by the time you picked a player, you're like, I don't want to play no more.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, no, it was kind of hard to play those games. Like the controls weren't as nice, and like even like the Scorpion Deathlock looked a little sus.
Goldberg's jackhammer looked like a suplex.
Yep.
Yeah. I do want to shout out one more, I think, and only not just to plug it because it's new. WWE 2K23 is actually a very fun game. Okay. I'm very much digging it, and I like how you can do multiple title entrances now. So like Roman could come out with both titles. that he had at the time before they introduced a new belt. And it has the Rey Mysterio story, which is really good.
Right.
Actually, no, this one's a John Cena story. Last year was Rey Mysterio.
Last year was
John Cena's one. And the good one about this one is like it's all the time Cena like lost. Like it's not all the ones he won. So I don't know, I'm having a lot of fun with it right now, but I still would prefer like, you know, throw me back to some older games like No Mercy. I'll play that till my eyes bleed.
Okay, I still got it. I am actually pissed at myself because I accidentally deleted. Oh yeah,
that's that. I don't know.
I actually reset the damn game like 6 months ago on accident, and yeah, I don't have any of the. I got to buy all that stuff all over again. I'm gonna have to play that thing for like 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, one last thing I'll say about video games before we move on to one of our final stuff, but I will fund it somehow. I will do a GoFundMe. They need to make a game, the Monday Night Wars, and you only have characters from WCW and WWF that were there at the time, and you could do like make your own like cross-brand pay-per-views and stuff. Do you know how much money that game would make?
Big money.
If they actually did it.
Now, are you gonna put the Rabbit Wolverine in it? Is the real question.
Yeah, you can put Crisp. What is his name? Crispin Wah. Crispin Wah. Yeah.
Or just have a wrestler named the Wolverine.
The Wolverine, yeah. Yep. That would be dope, though.
Yeah, for sure. So real quick, those are top 5 video games for all the listeners listening. Hopefully it brought you back some good memories. Before we go, anything you guys want to mention from Raw and SmackDown previous week? Start with Alexis.
If you smell
What the Rock? What a great surprise that was.
Dude, nobody knew. I love that the dirt sheets didn't get their hands all over it.
Yeah.
And that pop. You talking
loudest
about
pop, yeah, in this year.
Woof, by far the loudest pop. That might be its own pop now. That might be the Rock coming out to Denver pop. And looked great. They put him in the ring with Austin Theory, so they really think really high of him still. Just awesome. Just love seeing the Rock, man. And it was I got goosebumps, man. And I jumped out my chair. Jumped out my chair when I seen it.
Very unexpected, because you don't think that's it. And think about that. When is the last time a SmackDown had Rock and Cena on it?
Dude, I thought about you, MVP, when I seen Cena. I said, Cena's even on the show, too. I said, MVP's going to love that.
I love
that. Oh, yeah. The Rock was a great surprise. And I love just that he said so much stuff that Fox was like, nah, bro. We're not allowing that.
You are. And
that whole segment was just bleeped out. It's like you can't hear what they're saying. Yeah, for me, I like the Grayson Waller effect with Cena. Yep. Cena didn't even get. Did you see it, Matt? You mentioned you didn't see that.
No,
actually, just watched
Grayson Waller effect on nothing.
Well, I'm sorry for the spoiler alert, but Cena was in there. Did not get to say a word because Grayson Waller just kept talking about his washed up hairline and all this stuff, and then
his little bald spot in the back.
Yeah, but then you get Solo hitting the ring, and then Solo, acts like he's gonna Samoan Spike his brother, but then he super kicks Cena, and Jimmy and Solo are double teaming Cena, and then who comes to the aid? AJ Styles. So we got Styles and Cena maybe versus Solo and Jimmy.
Haven't seen that before.
So are Gallows and Anderson in the back going, what's going on? I thought we beat up John Cena.
I think Gallows is hurt again. I think.
Yeah.
They did announce that injury.
Yeah.
I don't, right now, my favorite story is the Bloodline. I think that we're in stagnant mode because
they shifted into neutral.
Yeah, because Roman ain't there. It is what it is. So we'll just see what's going to happen next.
You want to know? You want to know what I do like though? The last 2 weeks, I think this past week, main event, Rhea versus Raquel. We got to see Nia Jax coming back.
Rest in peace to all the women.
Yeah. Because she hurts them all. And then the week before that, main event Intercontinental Championship. Really like how they're doing that. How they're showcasing their championships and putting them in the main event. So not having Roman there and not having them dominating these stories is getting other people a lot of shine. So I do like that.
The Intercontinental Championship match with Gunther and Jack Gable was phenomenal. Great match. And when they ran it back this Monday, when he was now what I wanted to see happen, I wanted Gunther to say, "I am now the longest reigning Intercontinental Championship. I'm giving up this belt. I now want to go after Seth Rollins' title because I can't do anything else with this belt. I beat everyone." That would be a great way to get rid of the belt. Like who else has ever done that? Like I'm done with this now. I beat everyone. I've proven it. It's old to me. But to have it go back to Chad, that was a great exchange. Chad was serious for once, where like he didn't have any comedy. And then when Gunther said, "You're a terrible, disgusting, bad father," I'm like, "Ooh, that hit." I was like, "Ooh."
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that, but
you felt it.
So now I guess we'll see if they give Chad the belt, or if Gunther is going to keep reigning.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But yeah, it's a pretty good week of wrestling. I thought pretty good stuff going on.
You guys NXT?
I didn't watch any NXT. Braun Breaker and Baron Corbin had a segment. I know that.
Got a new women's NXT champ.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Becky Lynch.
Yeah, Becky Lynch, the man.
Beat Tiffany Stratton. I must say, Tiffany Stratton held her own. She is gonna be great.
Oh no! This is you're not gonna put her over Becky Lynch yet.
No, exactly. And I was a little confused. I'm like, wait a minute, if this is a tag team match. I mean, a championship match. I'm like, man, Tiffany Stratton hasn't had the belt that long. Yeah. And it was a great match, and Becky deserved the win. It'd be great for her to give some shine to the NXT title, but Tiffany Stratton, for not being in the ring that long, pretty smooth, pretty crisp, safe in the ring. That moonsault that she does is fucking pretty. And if you guys haven't seen it, she did a Swanton Bomb too.
Better than Jeff Hardy's, in my opinion. It was a phenomenal one.
Phenomenal. So I'm really gonna see what happens there with Becky Lynch at the NXT title now. So
what I read was so that NXT featuring Becky Lynch, that whole show popped a better rating than AEW.
Wow!
Just by having Becky Lynch on the show.
I mean, Becky Lynch is top notch, man.
Yeah.
She's top notch. She cemented herself as one of the greatest women to ever do it.
For sure,
in my opinion. But yeah, I think an awesome week of wrestling this week. Got to see a lot of the Judgment Day too, which is nice, and they're holding a lot of gold, and so a lot of good storylines going on in wrestling for sure.
Last thing I want to mention before we get going here, did you see The Rock on the Pat McAfee show?
I did not.
The Pat McAfee
show. He was talking about how they had a handshake verbal agreement. They all flew down. Nick Khan set it up with Vince and Roman and Rock, and it was going to be Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania 39. They were going to do it. But The Rock said, it's not about the injury I had. I'm not worried about the injury because it happens. It's part of the gig. Like, if I'm going to come back, what are we going to do to forward move something? He goes, I want to do something unprecedented, something that hasn't been done before. So now they're trying to think about it, so they put it on hold. And he's like, we still want to do it. He goes, I'm open to face Roman. He was in WrestleMania 40 at Philly. Never know. I'm open for it if we can figure something out. So
they got to get the belt off of him, though.
Before then, like, I don't know.
If they do it that way, they got to get the belt off of him. Otherwise, it's got to be Cody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, there's a lot of stuff cooking right now, so we'll see. But
anything with The Rock, I agree with you, MVP. Anything with The Rock doesn't need a title.
Nope.
Doesn't. To have the title on the line would be nice.
But then I think you just but you can't
piss off the fans. Yeah, no, you can't. No, you can't give it to The Rock for sure.
Yeah.
Why don't you have Cody take the belt night 1, and night 2, Rock doesn't challenge for a belt; he challenges for the right to be tribal chief.
I like it.
So you have Roman double dipping.
Yeah, but then you also cheapen out the Cody Rhodes win because The Rock is involved, and then it's like Cody's a second thought. So you can't do that either. We'll see. We could talk about it in future episodes, but that was a good episode. You guys got anything else?
Shout out to our buddies at Across Against the Spread podcast, helping me out with my weekly NFL bets.
Yeah, you could catch them live streaming tomorrow morning. Well, we're recording Saturday. It may have happened already, but we're live streaming that. Against the Spread is starting, and Gym in 10 Sports is growing, and can't wait to see what happens next. But again, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe, catch all the new content weekly, and you can catch us back next week. So we will see you on the next one.
All right. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, LWO.
Yeah. Latino.
Filipinos, close enough.
Close enough.
Close enough.